Pam Hoffman, Everyday Spacer.
I'm Jeff Miller, 2049 Outfitters.
At Everyday Spacer, we show regular folks how to personally and directly participate in space exploration, science, and astronomy. We're here on Friday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, 12 midnight Eastern Time, and 5 a.m. on Saturday in London. That will change next week, however. We're broadcasting live from Thousand Oaks, California. Before we get started, our friend Dawn shared an image that reminds me of the last episode. Now, what's special about this is this halo is apparent around the sun and the moon from the April 2024 eclipse. And let me go and because this next one is for Jeff. You ready?
Sure.
There it is.
Okay, some cybersecurity news. Microsoft warns of a malvertising campaign. Basically, it's an ads that you see that distribute malware. Now, they don't know exactly how they're done. There's some guesses as to how they're done, but they know that they've potentially infected over 1 million devices because the malware is hosted on GitHub, and Microsoft bought GitHub about a decade ago. So they know that these files, which got identified as malware and used in scams, and deleted it, but they could look at their records and see how many times it's been downloaded. So every time someone was infected, their computer would download some of the software. So that's over 1 million people, or over 1 million devices got this malware. Now, was it caught by antivirus? Hopefully. So I kind of doubt that over 1 million people were actually truly infected, but it's possible. So once again, ads on web, ads on websites. Careful how you click. No clicky.
No clicky.
Yeah, no clicky.
Especially in email.
Yeah, we've been through that one several times. But and one of the places that they know that these were coming from, just because of the way things were pulled off of their stuff and some investigation, were pirate streaming sites. Basically, stuff streaming copyrighted content, and stuff, but they don't know how much of that was from there. I doubt very much of it was. I think it was a whole bunch of different campaigns all using that stuff. But and the stuff that they found was stuff that will one, look to see what's on your computer, then it runs, then it downloads another one that then goes for some persistence and makes it so that it stays on your computer, and then downloads another thing that starts gathering data and exporting it out. And so at that point, your computer's constantly exporting data out to. And you made a comment about the article. It's not quite what that's about, but. Well, yeah. Well,
I don't really know.
They made a big point about it being from these pirate streaming sites, but it's, there's no real evidence that that's a majority of it, just that that's one of the ways. And I suspect that they mentioned several ways. They just didn't give us as much stress to a lot of those other ways.
Okay. And I see we have some comments, so let's say hello.
Yeah. Hi, Lahil.
Lahil, sounds like a new person. Welcome. Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Yep. And Jamie.
Hey, Jamie Becker.
And Scott.
And Scott, hello.
And Dawn. Hi,
Dawn. Hey, Dawn.
And Janice again.
Yes.
Yes. Very
interesting photo. We were trying to decide if it was a sun and a moon halo, but it's mostly sun.
Hello, Naomi.
Welcome, Naomi. This looks like a first-time person.
Yeah.
All right. So you want to do this part?
Yep. So tonight, Pam is going to be talking about how to prepare for an eclipse. We'll be back in 8.3 seconds. Okay, there's a description to that book in the...
Nope.
There's a link to that book in the description.
Yep.
Yay.
I love you.
I love you too. I can cough, but I can't talk.
You want me to talk?
No, I can talk, I think.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see how the episode goes. With 2 eclipses coming this month, we wanted to help you prepare for these stunning events, whether you have the equipment or not.
Oh, let me go set this up. And then we can share it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's where the notes come in.
Okay. There we go. We're prepared today, folks.
Yeah, sure. I think did you read this one? Did you read that part?
Oh, last April, Cliff, Donna, and Pam.
Nope, you.
Oh, that's right. Cliff, Donna, and I, because that was me.
Yes, it was you.
Covered some basics about observing and stuff like that and what they do to prepare. But we wanted to delve into the actual mechanics of preparing for an eclipse in this episode, because we seem to have missed it in that one.
I was watching in my car on the phone, which I couldn't make a comment from. I'm like, but you forgot this part. So we're gonna, yeah. Anyway, here's that link, and we got a couple more comments. Hello, Cliff. Naomi's the.
Oh,
yep.
I named it. Oops.
It was a welcome. Thank you. You're welcome, and thank you for being here.
Yeah.
I think we're caught up now. Okay. All right. Okay. So, you want to read that line?
Oh.
I don't know.
Hey, totally spontaneously, Pam, what can people do to prepare?
Well, let me set you up first, and I'm going to go to that. I have another screenshot. I got a lot of tabs and going back and forth a lot. So yeah, go ahead. So share screen.
Okay.
When I taught an astronomy class at the Global Adult Center here in town, I realized there are 3 basic venues and 3 basic ways to observe. The 3 venues include from your yard. Well, I want it back on. Let's show 2 of us.
Okay.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Hang on. Hey, go ahead.
That one, yeah. All right, so 3 venues from your backyard, in a nearby park, and at a really dark sky site like Joshua Tree here in the United States. And there's 3 ways to observe: naked eye, binoculars, and telescope. To get the most out of your observing session and be ready for the event, you want to recreate those conditions in advance the best you can. I know there's not going to be an eclipse in the sky, but if you're going to look at the moon, go out and look at the moon. Go to the site you're going to be at. Go and take all the equipment. Actually do the practice runs as you would sitting there doing them for the actual event, for the eclipse itself. But notice this year, folks, there is a time change here in the United States, and you want to be aware of that by next week. Also, are you starting, will the eclipse start for you in March 13th or March 14th for your area? You want to think about things like, what are you observing? Where will you do that? What equipment are you using? We don't have to keep looking at that. Let's look at this one. So, yeah, and then you want to actually go and do the things. Do those things that you're going to do for the live event on the day of the event itself. So, set up the equipment, practice doing all the things that you're going to do. You may find out that you want to make some changes. For example, last year, I watched Cliff do this from Steve's yard here in Thousand Oaks. He was getting ready for the eclipse he saw in Texas later in his trip, and he noticed something, and it's in that video. I put the link in the chat for you. He noticed something and he fixed it. He put a cardboard shield around his camera so the sun didn't blind him, because he was looking at a total solar eclipse. So he had that shield ready to go and practice with it so it didn't fall off whenever he was actually looking at the eclipse. It was ready to go. He did a bunch of this practice run to get ready for the eclipse. And if you don't do that, you may not clue into the need for this unless you actually set up the equipment and go through the process of doing all the things you do as you would for the event itself. I'm going to give you one caveat though, because things do happen. Let's say you've practiced and you're good to go, but something fails on you anyway. Spend your time looking at the eclipse and not playing with your equipment, especially if it's a short event like a total solar eclipse. With a lunar eclipse, they'll be going for hours. You could play with your equipment if you want to. You can get things ready. Like if you're taking pictures, you may realize that, well, I need to change the battery on my camera, that kind of thing.
You were going to say you need to change the film, but we're kind of way past that.
We're past that. Yeah, I was thinking film, but I was like, no, we don't have film now. We have digital cameras. But yeah, if it's a short event, don't worry about it. You get another chance in another year and just enjoy the eclipse itself. All right, so the first eclipse this month is a total eclipse of the moon or a total lunar eclipse. And I actually found that term, a total eclipse of the moon, in the Farmer's Almanac, and I thought, oh, what a great way to say that. It's an eclipse of the moon. And, decide for yourself, where are you going to watch this eclipse? Are you going to be at home? Are you going to go to the park near you? Or are you going to go out to a dark sky site? And I think if you're going to do that, it might be more like a camping trip. So it won't be something you could go and do, a couple of times between now and the eclipse. But you could go to a similar situation like the park. You might be able to go to a park, practice the things so that when you go out to somewhere like the Joshua Tree Park, you'll have practiced. You'll have some understanding of your equipment and what you want to do and
how you want to set it up.
Yeah. So yeah. Then you want to decide if you're going to just look at it naked eye, if you want to use binoculars, or you're going to set up a telescope to do some observing. Like I said, this is a great time to see the full moon without the blinding light of the sun. This might be a pretty good opportunity to actually do some, lunar observing that you couldn't do under normal full moon conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, because there should be enough light from the penumbra that you should be able to see some details.
That's you make a good point.
Completely washed out.
Yeah, you make a good point because there's kind of, as you can see in the diagram, there's kind of two different. Let's see, this is the lunar eclipse. There's sort of two different parts to this, and it's because of the way the sun crosses over the Earth and the shadow of the moon. It comes to part of it, and then the full, and then back out into part of it again. Those are umbra and penumbra.
Hey, Cliff. Yeah.
Set up and test before the event. Yes, absolutely. All right. So, a total lunar eclipse or eclipse of the moon can last for quite a while. One of the things I absolutely recommend, and I talked about this in my classes too, was to create a checklist for yourself. And here's an example of mine. And I was an organizer, so it's going to be a little different for me than someone who's just going out and observing. I brought stuff for people I had prizes and stuff. I had a big bin of fleece in case people got cold. You want to write down Farmer's Almanac and your red flashlights, whatever it is. I actually even put the Ranger Scott's phone number in here so that I could actually reach him. If we needed any help when we were out in the park. You can list your equipment. This is like a 2-page checklist so that I could print it one side this information and the other side the equipment. And I literally just went check. Or I put a big X if in fact I did not have that.
Or weren't taking
or wasn't taking it. Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, we got more comments?
Yeah, just Cliff said Lunar eclipse lasts a long time, sun minutes. Yep.
Yes, absolutely. So I recommend these checklists even for any regular observing that you go to, like a star party. But because very often me or somebody out there has been going, oh no, I forgot my one little piece. And you kind of can't do anything. without that one little piece. You'd be surprised at how often that is a thing. And the checklist will just help you preclude that little problem. And it's a very simple thing to do. And you're going to want to customize it for yourself. My checklist will be different from anybody else's. And, being a kind of a star party host, it was a little more extensive than a lot of people. So you may not have that two-sided thing going on.
The checklist is also good for making sure that you leave with everything you brought.
You make a really good point. And it's not always easy because it's dark by the time you're leaving. I know that we used to bring big, huge spotlights to just check the whole area. But you want to make sure that everybody understands that you may be running a white light so that you can find the things that you're trying to go home with and use your checklist for that. So I do take my checklist with me out in the field as well.
And as a star party organizer, you've come home with stuff and, had to go and contact people who were at the event to come pick up their stuff.
Oh, we've still got some of that.
Well, I guess they just didn't want the chair.
I don't know. Oh, we got another comment.
Yeah. On lots of eclipses, but very few solar ones.
They kind of come in pairs, though. Like, every year has either 4 or 6 eclipses, and it's basically a lunar and then a solar or vice versa. And I think I have a chart with all of them for this year. And you can find them for any other year, too, like going forwards and backwards for hundreds of years. Dawn and I were talking about it beforehand. This man, Frank Espenek, has plotted out about 500 years of eclipses. And that's an amazing legacy and body of work. So I would say it's a similar process for the partial solar eclipse that's coming up in March, on March 29th. You have about three weeks between now and then, so you could actually go out several times, set everything up that you plan to use, do some testing, tweak things, so that you could run what you plan during the actual event. And I recommend that you do that, since this partial solar eclipse is quite a bit shorter than the eclipse of the moon next week. And we've been talking about the differences between them. One's a little bit longer.
And just to bring up again, although we've talked about it in other shows, if it's a solar eclipse, so you definitely want some kind of shield on your viewing equipment and your eyes. And you want a sun-rated stuff.
Yeah, that was my next line. There are some differences between the solar and the lunar, and you absolutely want to protect your eyes. We'll probably mention that again once or twice in tonight's episode. But I would say, again, generate a checklist for your activity. It may be somewhat different for the lunar versus the solar, that kind of thing.
Not as many flashlights needed in the
probably not
eclipse.
Probably not. And just as a sort of a comparison case study, last year for the total solar eclipse, I shopped with Cliff and found a cool little tool I wanted to try out. Unlike Cliff, though, I did not take the time to use my cool little tool, and I actually kind of ran out as the eclipse was getting going, and I'm like, I could not figure out how to use it. That's not a good way to operate. We got another comment.
Don says, total solar eclipses occur over a very small area, and total lunar eclipses generally cover half the world. Yeah.
Right. And I think that might be what Cliff was alluding to.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to some websites and check out some tools that you can use. Let me set it up and then I'll say when, Jeffy. All right, so we go ahead. So you definitely want to go and check out this video here from last April. Dawn and Jeff and Cliff did a really nice job of getting prepared for the eclipse then. I think they just missed a little piece about the mechanics of it, going out, setting up the equipment, and playing with it and doing the things you might want to do. I talked about that. There's the checklist. I think there's some really great resources to help you remember and find out about these things. This one happens to be from Facebook. Love it or hate it, you're going to find some really cool imagery like this. They've got the March, it's 13th or 14th, but they took advantage of Pi Day, 3/14, and the blood moon. Well, yeah, that's just a buzzword, I think. We've got some other stuff going on here, but there's the partial solar eclipse, and I think that's cute. I'm going to look for that for sure. But again, there's some really nice places. This person, I didn't know about him until today, this meteorologist, Eric Snittil. And I really like this graphic. You can read about it on the side here. You can look on Facebook for all kinds of different things. Maybe that's just what I'm getting in my feed. But yeah,
I share that one.
Oh, yeah, we could. I don't know if everybody will be able to see it, but I will do my best to share it. All right. Oh, I think we got a comment from Cliff there, too.
Oh, yeah.
So that should be a clickable link in the chat now for you.
Yep. So Cliff says, Australia has more solar eclipses than most countries. Next start in Sydney and across the country in the longest duration of 5+ minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I remember the one in Baja California that was like 7+ I think. You get spoiled when you see an eclipse like that. So NASA, of course, had a really nice page, what you need to know about the March 2025 total lunar eclipse. They have some great video here. And they tell you what it is. You can kind of see, I think there's a better, you can kind of see the shadows created by the Earth from the sun. And part of it's kind of more dark. You see that's really dark there. And then this, let's see if I can bigify a little bit.
Well, part of it is because the sun's bigger than the Earth, so.
Yeah. But you've got two different kinds of shadows. That's the whole point there. Yeah, we got another.
Yep. Oh, 2028.
Yep. So there's that again. I think this is an excellent diagram to help you understand what's going on with the solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse. And I think part of the issue here too is where the moon lies along this, why it's like got a ring around it or what. And of course the moon could in fact never even enter the darkest part of the shadow here. And those aren't very exciting eclipses, actually.
Because the moon isn't always in the moon's orbit, kind of wobbles relative to the Earth and the sun. Yeah. So it's not always, that's why we don't get a lunar eclipse and solar eclipse every single month. Yeah.
Right. They're somewhat offset from each other. So there's special conditions with this. And again, we've talked about before, the moon itself is in just the right position. The placement and the size of it just covers the sun on the occasion of a total solar eclipse. At some point, we'll never, ever see one again. Yeah. Like billions of years.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Millions, billions?
Millions.
Something with an M or a B.
Yeah. Because,
lots.
The moon's getting farther away from us, not by very much every year.
No.
But it's getting farther away. And so it'll be smaller relative to the sun.
Right.
As time goes on.
They'll never ever quite match up again at some point.
But we've got
in the distant future.
We've got at least hundreds of years before you would even notice a difference.
Yeah. So. All right. So I want to point out too that Dawn does these beautiful pages about the lunar eclipse, and this is a really great resource. There's lots and lots and lots of stuff on Dawn's page, and that was let's see the jump. She says you can jump to the March 14 eclipse on this page. And there it is. You can see this very, very nice diagram. I believe this is a Fred Espenak, showing you exactly where you're going to be able to see the eclipse.
There's Naomi. She says, thanks for sharing, Cliff. I'm actually from Australia.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
We're going to say good day, mate. So there's lots and lots of really nice diagrams like this. And I actually went and found the page, which Dawn also references on her page, with all the text around it as well. There's a key to it too. Let's look at that. I haven't seen that. Because I was asking Dawn about this Saros 123. So there's some kind of cycle with the eclipses. Okay, here we go. Type of eclipse, Saros series, orbital node, all kinds of stuff. You can dive down into that rabbit hole as far as you would like to go, folks. Lots and lots of links. Look at all these links.
Yeah.
You can learn and learn and learn. Yep. Yeah, we got a comment?
Yeah.
There you go.
And Cliff says, yeah, that's 1 million years away before we don't have a total eclipse. Yeah.
I had a feeling it was a lot.
And also, Cliff, why don't you in the comments post a link to your Facebook page?
Oh, very good idea.
Because it's a good resource for a lot of people.
All right, so yeah, you could dive into this information. Looks like maybe for days, and you got a week. All right, so let's see. Oh, it's just another. Oh, that's the key. That's the key. I just brought that up. And Dawn has on her page as well this really interesting chart. Let's see. You want to know the time. In fact, somebody can give me a location. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put in our location, and I'll show you what happens when you actually hit. There it is, Thousand Oaks. You'll get this nice box that'll give you things like duration, umbra duration, penumbra duration, when it starts, when it's maximum, when it stops. And as you can see, this goes from 3:57 to that's like 7 hours, from beginning to end. So there's a lot of time in there to do a lot of good stuff. And notice this is UT, Universal Time. And if you are in somewhere else, you're going to want to translate that. Go ahead, it's on the comments.
Yeah. Okay, so Cliff says on the 2028 is right across New Zealand. Oh.
Okay, I thought I was going across Australia, but I guess
New Zealand's in the way.
Yeah, got it.
It gets run over on this way to Australia. I don't know how to get the link. Oh, okay. Well, you just type in the URL or you copy paste the URL in.
Yeah, just pick it up from the box up top there.
Unless you're on your phone, in which case it can probably be dicey.
Yeah, that might be. So yeah, I mean, it gives you your Latin long and all kinds of good stuff here.
And then Cliff, if you can't copy and paste the link, just go ahead and type the name of it in Facebook because people can search for it.
That's true. So if anybody else, I haven't seen anybody come in, but if you give me a location, we can look for where you are too. And as you can see, this gives pretty much where it's completely visible right here. And if you're in these zones, like in between these green, you will get the total eclipse. And as you go farther and farther away, it's less and less. In fact, there's no, they even say here, no eclipse visible in this region. All right, so let's see. Let's go to the next thing here. And Dawn does a monthly almanac. Here's the March one. There's some really great information from the Farmer's Almanac. Avada Kedavra, let's get rid of those ads. When's the next eclipse? Dates for 2025. All kinds of good stuff. So there's lots and lots of really useful tools. Just pick the one that kind of works for you. I really like the time and date resources. They really give you some nice options, including some little animations of what it's going to do in your area, how it's going to look over your area. And I like this list here. It's for 2025. Oh, and this is wonderful too. This countdown. It's 5 days, 22 hours, 28 minutes, and 38 seconds. Which it doesn't matter where you are. That's how long it is until this next event, and it's the lunar eclipse on the 13th, 14th. And I think this is the page for that. Yes. And if you see up here, you've got eclipse map, 3D globe, live stream, all kinds of possibilities. But they do give you this animation. Oh, we got another
just Cliff.
Oh,
I build computers, don't know much about running one. Okay.
Got it. So yeah, you've got different views, a whole globe, and this was the stuff at the top, and they'll just blow it up for you. You'll see the whole thing as you see this screen here instead of these little thumbnails. Detailed eclipse path, globe map, all kinds of great stuff. It kind of just depends on what you prefer and how you like to see it. And this is the animation. I always love these. It really gives you a good idea of how this is going to work across the globe. You got the moon there, you got the sun there, and the moon gets brighter and darker depending on where it is. Good stuff. Yeah.
There we go. Cliff, I'm gonna post it for you.
Oh, you found it. Good. So one of the nice things too I like about this is, and I just did a search and it actually gave me visible in Thousand Oaks information in my local time and day. So mine's, the eclipse is going to start here for me on March the 13th at 8:57, and it's ending March the 14th at 3 a.m. I will probably not see the end of it.
Oh,
that's a little late even for us.
Dawn just shared. Viewers can't put links in comments.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. And that makes sense. It prevents people from spamming malware on across the site. But that's okay. I found it. So
we got your back.
Yeah.
So yeah, you get the beginning and the maximum and the ending, all kinds of points of interest along the path of this eclipse. Quick facts about the eclipse. How many people can see it? Good stuff. An eclipse never comes alone. It's always 2 weeks between the two.
Yeah. Hang on one moment.
Yeah.
Cliff says, okay, where did you find that? On the top bar of Facebook, on the browser when I'm on Facebook, Cliff.
The link. But he couldn't have shared it anyway.
Yeah, you couldn't have shared it anyway. But in the future, just type out Pomona Astronomy Group on Facebook, and people can find it that way.
We do like to help people out. So yeah, I didn't even do this. It found my location, basically Los Angeles. So we're very close to Los Angeles, and it gives all the stats for that and other eclipses, which also expand out into these. All right, I think. Oh, I guess we got partial. This is about the solar eclipse, the partial solar eclipse. Let's see. Can we run this animation? I always love these.
Oh.
Nope.
Oh, it's down.
Oh, I see.
Oh, there it goes. Oh, so it's coming up over the horizon.
Okay.
Yep.
Maximum. So that's what it'll look like over our area. I mean, an animation of it. All right, so let's see. If you are somewhere else in the world, you can actually find the Griffith Observatory streaming live. Griffith Observatory will host a live online broadcast of the total lunar eclipse. Notice they did not give you a total lunar eclipse, though. On March 13th, 14th, allowing viewers to watch the celestial event remotely. I would just look for Griffith Observatory. Yeah, no. And you should be able to find, or even put in like a live stream for this event. All right, so again, that's that one. What else do we got here? Let's see what that one is. We've seen these before. So I think I'm going to go back to us. Okay. And mostly it was to go over that kind of mechanics of the actual setting up the equipment, doing it. And I really noticed the contrast between what Cliff did and what I did last year. They're good case studies. So Cliff was prepared, and I'm sure when he got to Frost, Texas, and looked at that eclipse, he was just fine. And I'm out there like fumbling around. Do not do that. Oh, and did I mention? Always protect your eyes. Use something to protect your eyes for any lunar solar eclipse. And anytime you want to look at the sun, I'm a big fan of looking at the sun, but not always good. I really
make sure you've got make sure you observe with protection. That's
yes. And Cliff.
One thing that I can say: solar eclipse is one of the most exciting events you can see.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, I saw.
Got your back.
Yeah, I saw a partial when I was a kid. Actually, I don't think it was a total. I think it came real close, but it wasn't a total.
Yeah, there's several kinds: total, partial, annular. There might be other ones. I think there was a weird one a couple years ago. Anyway, you want to do this part?
Sure. Some stellar events this week, March 7th through March 14th. And hang on.
You got it?
I was so glad to come back and see you guys. Yeah,
that was very exciting to have you here for.
Yeah.
For about a week. I think you were here about a week, right?
Yeah. We got to do some interesting stuff too. Okay, so skymaps.com. It's the beginning of the month, so visit every month for your free 2-page PDF download. It's a great tool for to start getting out and learning the night sky.
Yeah, I really love the kind of checklist there, which gives you targets to go looking for.
And even if you're experienced, it gives you goals for what to look for.
There's the one I can never find. Is like, I want to find that one day. So again, it's the beginning of the month, so I'm gonna go ahead and read out the Farmer's Almanac synopsis. I did put it on my screen though, so I can actually, read it. So on the 1st, I know it's past, around 6:15, Mercury at magnitude -1 is the only star, low in the west below the moon and dazzling Venus. Mercury rises a bit higher during the next few evenings and approaches Venus from the 8th to the 10th. That's right around now, when it's easy to spot in the lower left of the gleaming evening star. In the south, the moon meets Jupiter on the 5th, with Taurus's famous orange star Aldebaran below them. The moon sits extremely close to fading Mars on the 8th. That's actually tomorrow here, with Gemini's Castor and Pollux to the left. Oh, it's tonight for Cliff. So look for that, Cliff, if you can. I know you got a lot of weather there. After daylight savings time begins on the 9th, hunt for Mercury from 7:15 to 7:30. Its position between the Earth and the Sun. Venus reaches inferior conjunction on the 22nd and moves into the morning sky. Spring begins with the vernal equinox on the 20th at 5:01 Eastern time. And you know what? That should have been on our list. Oh no, you know what? It comes later. 22nd.
Yep.
20th.
Yep.
Got it. That's why it's not on our list this week. Beg pardon. Go right ahead.
It's this week in a few weeks.
Yeah. Sorry.
March 7th, the moon runs high.
We don't know on what, but go ahead.
Should be more careful when you're running. And Cliff says,
you're right.
Must give Steve Woodward a big shout out for his excellent effort taking me out and seeing a lot of stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve's a good guy.
That was amazing.
Yep. And
yes, please, clear skies.
Yep.
Did you read that one?
Not yet.
Okay.
So March 8th, Mars and the moon are in conjunction. Mars is 1.7 degrees south of the moon. And Mercury is at its greatest eastern elongation of 18 degrees. Look for Mercury as the sun sets. March 9th, Mercury and Venus are in conjunction.
That'll make it easy.
And Pollux is 2 degrees north of the moon. Also, it's daylight savings time, so we spring ahead. In some places in the U.S., we set our clocks 1 hour later before we go to bed on Saturday night. That's better. I hate going backward on some of those clocks because I have to go all the way around. Not just all the way around 12, all the way around
24 hours.
Because I have to do the minutes too, not just the hours separately. That's it. The cell phones and computers advance an hour, sometimes early Sunday morning.
Yeah, we do it before we go to bed, but the machines will just, they'll do it whenever they do it.
I remember we used to have to reboot to get those changes, but now they happen.
Oh no, we still have a cyclone. Oh, not bad for you. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, but not bad.
Where are you here?
Yeah. March 12th, Saturn and the Sun are in conjunction, which means it's going to be probably really hard to see Saturn if it's that close to the Sun.
Yeah.
And Mercury is
but there's reasons to call it out, because then you can, like when it's like an occultation, you can see things like the atmosphere.
Yeah. If you have equipment that can block out the Sun but still let you see Saturn.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, because Saturn's behind the Sun.
Yeah.
And Mercury is 6 degrees south of Venus. Also, Regulus is 2.2 degrees south of the moon. And it's Ember Day. Okay. I don't know what Ember Day is, but there it is.
It's on the almanac. I just put it in.
March 13th, Purim begins. Again, we read about that.
We looked it up.
Some big happy festival that
drinking thing.
Yeah.
Like months or years of drinking or something. I
right,
don't know.
but they've reduced
That's
it
weird.
to 1 day.
Yeah, and other things.
March 14th.
It's a shadow of its former life.
Yeah.
Former self.
March 14th, a full worm moon. Yeah, I don't know where they get these names.
Spring.
Eclipse. It's also the eclipse, and it's on the equator at descending node. And Mercury appears stationary. And Purim ends. Okay. Apparently, if you're Orthodox Jewish or really big into some of those days, it is actually a Jewish holiday. I've just never heard of it. March 14th, Friday night show. I'm doing a Zooniverse. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. We're doing a Zooniverse.
Did you figure out which one?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Find us.
Oh, we got a comment. Cliff says
that newer camera.
The telescope says the problem. Rain. Stop it. Do some observing before you get more equipment.
Yeah, Cliff, if you stop buying stuff, you might be able to use what you've got. Find us Fridays at 9 p.m. Pacific time on the Everyday Spacer Facebook page and the Everyday Spacer YouTube channel.
What inspires you the most for the coming week? Let's go there.
Okay. If you or someone you know has done something interesting involving space exploration, science, or astronomy, we'd love to share our live. Join us again next Friday, March 14th, when I'll be talking about exoasteroids. It's basically looking for asteroids around other stars.
No way.
Yep.
Is that new?
Yes. Almost brand new. And
yeah, I know you don't have names for them.
We're
just special that way.
It's only 0% complete. Hopefully it won't complete by the time.
Well, there's 10,000 subjects.
Yeah.
You may be right, Jeff.
But every once in a while that goes really fast. So.
Yeah, that's true. Especially if that sounds like a pretty exciting project.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll know more about it by next Friday. Let's do a shout out. Cliff was here and Dawn was here. Thank you so much for being here, folks. And I know we saw Scott and Naomi.
And Naomi. And the guy, someone commented right before we, 15 minutes before the show.
Janie,
Scott. Oh, Lahel.
Like I say, it's always a better show with you folks. We are so grateful you are here. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, you're welcome. Really enjoy this. Have a lovely weekend as well, Naomi. Yep. Appreciate that. All right. Anything else from you?
Nope.
We will continue to look for your comments over the week. Otherwise, have a great night, folks.
Yep. Good night.
Good night.
Where's the button? That button?
That button.